Welcome to episode 406 of Salcedo Paranormal, where we will be finishing the review of Stephen King's novel Revival. For all episodes of the show, along with links to social media and other ways to contact me, you can visit the podcast page, which is salcedoparanormal.podbean.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.podbean.com. Always happy to hear from you all, whether you have comments or questions or topic suggestions or stories of paranormal experiences, whether they're your own or from others that you trust. Happy to either read those or have you join me on the show to talk about them. Thank you all for listening to the show, whether you are able to make it for the live streams on Discord or if you listen to the podcast or YouTube feeds, or if you catch it on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP Digital Broadcasting. Of course, you can find two episodes, replays of episodes of the show, on that station every night, as of right now, 7 nights a week, at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, in that hour right before Troubled Minds Radio starts. I always want to thank, whenever I remember anyway, I want to thank Michael Strange of that show, of Troubled Minds Radio, as well as Liam Martin of the Exiled Minds podcast, for putting together the music that you hear at the beginning and the end of every show on the station, and just for putting the show on the station as well. If you like to support the show, there are a few different ways to do that. You can share the show with others. You can also rate and review the show on your podcast platform of choice. Also, if you are interested in paranormal fiction and nonfiction books, I have written some of those that you can find on Amazon. And if you would like to support the show through donations, you can find the links to those on the podcast page, on the Discord, and on the description of every episode of the show. Along with, as of now, I have a Patreon set up. And that is mainly just to support the show. There's no extra content there. But it's just another way for you all to do that if you would like, and if you're able. So, help is never expected, but always appreciated. And so yeah, last time, the last episode of the show, I started a review of Stephen King's novel, Revival. And again, this is a story really mostly about two characters. One is the narrator, Jamie Morton, and then the other main character is Charles Jacobs, who was a minister and always interested in sort of electricity as well as spirituality and religion and the afterlife. And even more so after, unfortunately, his wife and son were killed in an automobile accident, a car accident, which led to him leaving the area, not being a minister there anymore. And this whole series of events that we covered in the last episode, leading up to the point where I'm at now in the story. So, and of course where we left off was Jacobs had received a letter from Charles had received a letter from Jamie's high school sweetheart, basically, saying that she had a terminal illness and she was asking Charles to cure her. And Charles told Jamie in the letter, "I will only do this," basically, I'm paraphrasing here because I don't remember the exact words, but "I will only do this if you come and work with me, or for me, as my assistant in one last experiment." And now, keep in mind, all of Charles' experiments and work with healing people using electricity in different ways has, in this novel, has led to many of these people that have been healed having various levels of side effects. And in some cases, those side effects drove the people insane, which led to their deaths and even them killing others as well before they passed. So Jamie is not crazy about this, but he wants to help Astrid, who is the name of the woman. And it's the woman that needed this cure, and so they go through with this energy burst or transfer, and it appears to help Astrid and cure her of this one disease that she had that was going to kill her. So, and even with all this, she and her partner at this point, who's there with her, they both still don't really trust Charles, but they are grateful. But they also get away from him as fast as they can, really partially at the request of Jamie. He doesn't really want Charles anywhere near Astrid at this point anymore. So that's at that point. That's basically where we left off with the last episode here, and moving on to the story here. So it's at this point that Charles Jacobs starts to prepare for his final experiment. Charles tells Jamie that he's discovered some kind of energy that he calls secret electricity, which is, according to Charles, this all-powerful energy source that he has been using over the years to perform and to make these cures over the years that he's given to people. Which, of course, means that he was sort of lying when he told Jamie as a kid that what he had done to Jamie's brother, Conrad, was just a placebo effect. So, and so now Charles wants to harness a massive surge of this energy from a lightning rod on this mountain and send it through and into and through a terminally ill woman named Mary Fay that came to him for a cure, and he's basically promised that he will do so. He will cure her, but this is not his actual plan. What he's going to do is let her pass away and then use this massive energy transfer through his own homemade developed electronics. He's going to use this energy surge to revive her body after she passes, so that he can talk to her spirit and find out where she's at, and where where Charles' wife and son are at. And so because he's all these years he's wanted to know where they went to after they died. So, and again, this is something that I wasn't into all the paranormal as much at the time when I listened to this book as I am now. But now, thinking back on it, I find it amazing in a way, this detail in this book, because I'm sure Stephen King is aware of the history of people who have claimed to be able to communicate with spirits and with the other side and sense spirits and other beings, and so obviously he didn't go that route in the story. So does that then mean that Charles Jacobs knew of these people that had these abilities? Or if he didn't know, then that could explain why he's going about things in this way. Or he did know, but Charles wanted complete control over all of the circumstances and didn't want to waste any time, in his mind anyway, with sort of random communications with others that he wasn't interested in. So again, sort of these are all questions that I don't, as far as I know, there's no real answers to, but just some interesting points there in the story. And so anyway, Charles is preparing for this experiment, but he's also, at this point, Charles is not doing great himself. He's a lot older. This is of course, I mean, he was not young when he met Jamie, and now Jamie is definitely an adult. I believe in his 30s or so, maybe even older. I think 40s, if I remember right. So Charles Jacobs is not in perfect health either. So that's why Charles wants Jamie to help. So they go through with this experiment one night when there's a huge storm. And so they do this, and also it's right around the time when Mary Faye passes away, and or dies, technically. And that's when Charles activates this energy transfer. And it does appear to bring Mary Faye back to some kind of a life. But once she's there, and Charles Jacobs asks her all these questions about the afterlife, she says, and this is according to this one character in this book, so again, this is sort of, some people may consider this to be a sort of a touchy subject in a way, but this is a fictional novel, just so everyone is aware. But according to this character, Mary Faye, there is basically no stereotypical afterlife. What she is seeing, from where she's at, she is in this other dimension known as the Null, Null, and it's ruled by these ant-like creatures, and they are ruled by these Lovecraftian monster godlike beings, infinitely powerful beings, and the souls of people. There are also souls of people in this dimension that these ant creatures are basically herding these souls, gathering them up and sending them to the most powerful of these creatures, which is known as Mother. And this creature apparently devours the energy, the souls of these people. So, and to the point where she has this giant claw that is part of her being, made up of what appear to be human faces. Again, this is a horror novel. And this creature known as Mother starts to come through the body of Mary Faye, turning it into basically a monster as well, and tries to kill Charles Jacobs. Jamie at this point doesn't care so much for Charles Jacobs. He sort of thinks that Charles Jacobs almost deserves what's going on. But Jamie is also afraid for his own life and feels bad for Mary Faye as well. So he gets this gun that Charles Jacobs had on hand and shoots at this creature that is in the body of what was Mary Faye. And as this is happening, and as this creature is sort of developing out of this woman's remains, corpse, Charles Jacobs is so terrified that he has a stroke and passes away. So it's at this point, excuse me, that the creature leaves Mary Faye's body after it's been shot, and so Jamie is able to arrange everything in this cabin where everything happened, to make it look like Charles Jacobs was the one that shot Mary Faye. Excuse me. Sorry about that. And so Jamie flees the area at this point, just trying to forget about everything that has happened in a way, and because he knows that the authorities would not believe him if he told them what happened. So, and he goes to live out the rest of his life. Now, of course, after this, he keeps track of all the people that Charles Jacobs, quote-unquote, healed. And it's not long after Charles Jacobs' death that several of these people, basically this condition that only affected a few of them, now seems to be amplified to where most of the people that took any kind of cure from Charles Jacobs, they also go insane and end up killing others and then passing themselves, including Hugh Yates and then also Astrid. So these people that Jamie knew, and there's only a few people that were given these cures that don't lose control, and Jamie, of course, is one of them. And he's trying to again move on, but he has to go to he basically receives what do you call it? He goes to a psychiatrist. There we go, and to tell them everything that's happened. But of course, this professional does not believe him, and he also understands why, and is trying to convince himself, really without any much success there, that the visions that he saw and the things he heard about were all lies. But so he's going through all this treatment in that way. Also turns out there's another, his brother Conrad is also living nearby, but he is he was caught before he was able to do anything too severe. Conrad was, but he is also basically insane and is stuck in this psychiatric hospital. And of course, Jamie is overseeing his care as well. And of course, this is due to this treatment that Charles Jacobs gave Conrad all those years ago as a kid. So, as one of the final scenes in this book mentions Jamie leaving this facility, and as he's going, he sees a door that that appears to be different than the others, and it's another one of his visions. And there's a voice calling his name, and that's when he realizes that someday when he passes, he will have to go to that other dimension, that null universe, and eventually become another victim of this mother Lovecraftian creature. And so that's where the story ends. It makes me wonder if not only did Charles Jacobs did these cures that he gave people, not only did it maybe cure them and give them side effects, did it also somehow mark them and doom them to traveling to this other dimension when they passed, to where they would be victims of this mother creature. Because it's just hard to... I mean, the idea is that these characters are sure of what this afterlife is, but again, who really knows? And I have ideas on that as well. But amazing book, especially for a horror novel. Really enjoyed it, and just the characters and obviously there's so much more in the book than I was able to describe there. And just plays on this whole idea of belief and the search for knowledge and this use of power and energy and electricity in different ways to achieve different goals, and how maybe in a lot of cases that the dangers in that as well. And so, of course, really well done book, written book, and the audiobook is also really good. The narrator, I didn't think to look up who the narrator is, but I listened to the book and it was really good. So that's basically it for that book. I was just thinking I could go through the list of other books that I have left to review as far as Stephen King's books that I haven't yet, and you all can maybe let me know what you think and which one of these you want me to review next. I will be doing a review of Stephen King's Skeleton Crew as well at some point, but I'm sort of waiting for other things to line up for that. I want to review the first story with a friend of the show, and want to make sure we wait until it works best, the time and date that works best for them. But other books that I can review are, and these are not in alphabetical order, they're just sort of as I was thinking of them, but these are all books that I have read that I can review at some point in time, and these are all by Stephen King. There's other books I've read as well, but this is just the King list here. Carrie, Firestarter, Eyes of the Dragon, Christine, The Green Mile, Desperation, Lisey's Story, and Joyland. So I can definitely review those, and I'd like to at least review one book a month from now on. I sort of got away from that and really got into more of the strictly paranormal cases, haunted places, all those kinds of things, which are always great, but I do think popular culture fiction is it's sort of tied to the paranormal. It can be, and I also have this idea that fiction is only that here. In other words, everything that is said to be fiction here is reality somewhere else, in some other universe or dimension. So, just a thought, but it seems to me that could be the case. And looking forward to doing more of these reviews. Also, there will be a bonus show on Friday, as far as we have planned as of right now. And then I'll be back with more shows, more regular shows on Saturday. That will be another topic-based show. So, probably another famous, reportedly haunted location. So, yeah, thank you all for listening and helping this show get to over 400 episodes. Really appreciate that. And I think that'll do it. I will talk to you all on the next episode of Salcedo Paranormal. Take care.